Broadcasting live.
Listen live online 24/7.
24/7. Around the world.
Right here. Right now.
It's 300 Radio.
And you know this, man.
Yo, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Scott Free Morning Show. I was going to say Scott Free Podcast. Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Scott Free Morning Show. I am your gracious host himself, L. Scott. These lights are extremely bright, but we're going to get it popping today. On today's episode of the Scott Free Morning Show, we're going to dive right in, guys and people, ladies and gentlemen. We're just going to dive right in. On today's episode, you just got me by myself today. But we're going to run an entire show because that's what we do over here. I'm going to run an entire episode today. We're going to make sure everything gets popping. And today is going to probably be a lot more serious than yesterday's episode was. Yesterday's episode I did with Miss Lovey. We covered everything from WrestleMania to a couple of relationship questions. And if you didn't catch yesterday's episode, things went off the rails pretty damn fast. Me and her discussed everything, and it got pretty heated, but not in a negative way. If you know me and Miss Lovey, we've known each other our entire lives. When we go at it like that, people think that we're fighting. We're not. Right after we did that, we had a phone conversation. We talked about things. We did other stuff. But it get heated because we're very passionate about our stances and our beliefs and how things are going for Black America. And kind of that's what I want to talk about today. I want to dive deeper into what today's episode is going to be about. And it's really just about, honestly, I want to take today's episode and I'm going to go through a couple of things. I'm going to probably play a couple of clips, videos, things like that. Basically breaking down the state of Black America right now. People do, from the Carmelo Anthony case, from some of the things Trump is doing. I'm going to try to cover quickly this Shannon Sharpe thing. You just literally, every time I turn on the TV or the internet, we as Black people are suffering somehow, somewhere. So what I want to do is I want to be a counter to what we've been hearing every day. If you turn on the news, I'll give you an example of what I mean. I haven't seen it yet, but this Sinners movie by Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan, I really want to see it so I can give my critique on it. But even by waiting for that, just waiting to hear about this Ryan Coogler movie. What was I ready to say about it? Some racist shit that I heard about that. What did I hear? Oh, it was a Vanity Fair. It was some big publication. Maybe it was some out of New York. It was New York, something, Washington Post. It was something. It was a really big publication. Vanity Fair, I think it was. If I'm wrong, please correct me, people. It's people. We almost got 5,000 in the queue already. So please correct me if I'm wrong. But I think even Vanity Fair decided they were going to cover Ryan Coogler's movie. And when I say that we're under attack, it's just the imagery and the things that they're talking about when it comes to this. Everything is from a negative standpoint. If you know anything about statistics and things like that, you can lie with those. I'll give you an example. You always probably hear the narrative that Black American males, or Black America makes up 12 to 14% of the United States population, but we're committing over 50% of the violent crimes. Now, if you just look at the statistics, that would make sense. But how many times have you seen and how many times have you heard other white people say, I didn't get charged for half of the shit I was doing? So just imagine if, matter of fact, even better, I remember it's like for a couple of years there before Elon Musk bought Twitter, or X, when it was still Twitter, I remember I would always see once a year, it was like white people was kind of get cocky and they would tell you how much cops didn't fuck with them. They would go as far as to, I remember one thread, like 2 years in a row they did it. It was like, please tell the one time the cop didn't arrest you or something like that. And these people were talking about, some people were having indecent sex in public. I forgot what you call it. You had people who were talking about they got stopped with drugs and cops let them go. You had people who were just committing all kinds of crimes and the cops took them home. Now, there's no record of that. So you can't give me that statistic when it comes to Black people. Then I'll say even better. Take the whole Carmelo Anthony case. Carmelo Anthony's case, if it was a white guy, and let's just be honest, if it was a white guy, this wouldn't even be a case. This guy would be at home right now. If you remember was it Alton Sterling? It wasn't him. I can't remember. But what's the brother's name? This is sad that so many Black people have gotten killed that we're forgetting names now. But what's the young man's name that got murdered by those white guys that was basically running through his own neighborhood, and they run up on him and they killed him. And then remember, if you remember that case, and I can't remember the name of it, but if you remember that case, remember, everybody went home. Nobody was in trouble. No one got accosted for any of that. The only thing that happens, I think one of the people, they even got nervous and basically dropped some footage out into the news. And that's the only reason why we knew what was going on, because somebody exposed the other ones. But if that had never happened, that one wouldn't be on the books. So I have to keep saying to black people, or to the world, that, well, I'm gonna talk to my own people today. I'm gonna just say to black people today, people, don't let these people tell you that you are bad or you did something wrong. These people will move the goalposts, and I say this every episode, and have us all in our emotions and feelings, because I get it. Let me say this, and then I'm gonna go into the very first break of commercials, and then we're gonna get this show popping. I'm not gonna stay on this subject too long, at least not the Carmelo one. Family, you're dealing with, let's just go and say it, you're dealing with a world that doesn't view it the way that you do. Something I had to learn very early in the game was that you cannot put onto others the way you think or the way you view the world. That's your very first mistake. Black America is some of the most moral, what they like to say when they talk about it, the moral authority when it comes to the world. And the reason why I say this is not because we don't have some debauchery or some negative shit in our culture, but collectively, you tell me what group of people on the planet Earth that you can enslave, murder, beat, buck, break, up until this day, and they still haven't openly attacked you. That's a people with morality. That's a people with heart. Those are people with care and love. And I'm just sorry, what we're dealing with in this world isn't the same. And if you're anything like me, I have to get to the level of where everyone else is at. Now, I'm not a fan of the Obamas, but one thing Michelle Obama said one time was that when they go low, we go high. Fuck that shit. When they go low, I'm gonna get on the ground, because that's where we're at right now, people. I have a video. Matter of fact, before I go into that, let me show you this real quick. I have a video of a guy who basically is gonna make my point for me. So, matter of fact, let me get into that. Let me show you that real quick so I can show you exactly what I mean. So let me pull this up on the screen. So really quick, guys, I want to show you this real quick. And you tell me what you think. And this will make my point for me. How even though black people are loving, supportive, nice people who just want everyone to get treated fair, you have motherfuckers like this in this world. So let me play it for you. And matter of fact, before I get into it, because I forgot what world we live in, let's go ahead and play the fair use thing. We'll edit this out later, but I'm going to play fair use now, because I know if I don't play that, when I upload this to YouTube and things later, they're going to hit me. So let's play the fair use right now, because we're going to be probably playing a lot of videos today doing this episode. And I want to make sure that you guys get to see it in its full totality. So hold on one second. I'll be right back.
Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
All right. Like I said, that's all that I wanted to pull up. I wanted you to hear that. So now we can play the video. So here we go. And let me set it up for you. So you can't read the post, but this is an organizer. This white guy's an organizer for a group that they had a protest for white America. It was a white American rally, which you want to know why y'all didn't get any news plug on that? Because don't nobody give a fuck what you talking about. Because everybody know that your ass is out there whining and you ain't got nothing to whine about. That's why you cannot protest and be a non-black person. It doesn't work. No one's going to feel you. You need the energy of black America to make any protest work. But anyways, just to set up this clip, this young man here on this clip, it's a black guy in the hat. He's actually here on behalf of the white father of the young man Carmelo Anthony unfortunately had to unalive. And he's talking to this guy who organized the group called Protest for White America. So let's hear how this white guy talks about this situation. And everybody who knows the situation have seen. Matter of fact, let's do this first. Let's play this first, So this young man can explain to you what's going on in the case and all the lies that have been told. And then that way we can go from there. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to play the other video. So let me back it up.
Let's see all of the things white people lied about during the Carmelo Anthony situation. So he never had a knife. It was a cleat sharpener. That's lie number one. He actually was allowed to be in the tent that he was in because he is an athlete. Yeah. So they lied about that as well. They say he started the fight. He did not start the fight. Austin, what was his name? The brother of the dead kid, Austin's brother, was on camera saying that they approached him and began grabbing his stuff, trying to remove him from a tent.
Come on now.
Which they had no authoritative control over, by the way. They are not here to physically remove anybody. No child in the United States, in any United States of America school system, has ever been deemed responsible for physically removing other children from any type of premises. It doesn't happen like that. So adults are always the de-escalators. So they lied about, that's 4 lies.
4 lies.
When are people going to understand that bigotry is so easy to spot? You know, when you try to act like you outraged over a human losing his life, but the facts are presented to you and you still don't change your stance. You still solid within your ignorance. It's just showing your racism. And I mean, we grind.
So now, I'm not going to play this guy whole video because it goes on for like another, well, it's almost at the end, but let me finish.
Oh, no, it's 2025. You racist. Like, shit been going on before we've been here. It's going to go on after. But it's just so easy how y'all are simple to identify, because I don't think any one of them have told the truth so far yet.
And see, guys, let me put my music back on, my pimping music as I do this. See, the reason why everyone knows, see, this is what I need everybody to get to. I need for everyone to get to a spot where they understand that this is not about, look, the people who are supporting the imprisonment of Carmelo Anthony are not people who want to see justice served. These are the same people who lynch mobbed black people back in the day. These are the same people who, and in their mind, said that there is no law that a black person has that a white man has to respect. These are the very same people. These are the people that you watch online that when you see, I've seen situations online where there's a black person that may have the interaction with a white neighbor. The cops show up, the white neighbor cusses out the cop, calls the black person every name but the child of God, and there's never any consequences. Those types of people are emboldened to act this way. And the reason why they're emboldened to act this way is because there's no consequences for their actions. See, I'm not a fan of coincidences. I also know in this world, everything works off of systems, and everything is trying to come to an outcome. And what I hate for black people to not understand is that this world is built around your enslavement, your subjugation. And it shows every time with this stuff. Like the man just said on this video, this young man just made a statement, and I totally agree with what he said. He's basically just telling you is that no matter what the situation is, they're going to lie. If this was truly a case that where black people were just railroading white people, as they like to say, then for one, why do you have to lie so much? Why do you have to lie about how it all played out if the situation played out the way that you say it did? Because you know it didn't. And I think what happens with black people is that you can't see, if you don't understand white supremacy, you can't fathom the fact that there's people in this world who literally just want to see you suffer. See, because you're thinking to yourself, I don't want to see someone suffer. Now, have I been rude to people? Have I been mean to people? Have I done stuff wrong? Yes, and I felt bad for it. That's how you think. But one thing I've learned in this world is that when it comes to white supremacy, and again, white supremacy doesn't mean all white people, there's a mindset to white supremacy. White supremacy doesn't care about anything and anything at all other than it's in, what's the word I'm looking for? It's only looking to dominate you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I think it gets pleasure out of doing it. The reason why I know that white supremacy is more about getting pleasure out of harming other people is because they do it when they don't even have to. Collectively in this country right now, black people are suffering the hardest economically as a group over everyone else. But yet and still, this society still takes the time out to make sure that they're going to make sure you stay at the bottom. See, if it was just about subjugating somebody, and then somebody had to just, if somebody had to just bring up the rear, they wouldn't care who it had to be. But see, for some reason, they want it to be us 24/7. Black Americans have to bring up the bottom. I used to think it was just black people in general, but it's not. It's literally just black America. And the reason why I say I know it's just black America is because you are now bringing in other people in other facets of life. They are overrunning us with foreign black people from other places every day. They are prioritizing them in sports and entertainment every day. All your new actors, all your new singers and rappers are all from other places. I think that is because we have a warrior spirit about us. And I think they want to remove that. I think they want the excellence and the talents of black people, but they don't want the pushback that black America gives them. See, they want to be able to take your music and take your food and take your history and take all of your people and whitewash them out. They want to do all of that, and they want to do it without having any pushback. And I think what they have learned is other nations don't push back. Now, I'm ready to say something about the continent of Africa that's going to sound very disparaging, but it's not really disparaging. It's actually a motivator for you to get your ass and get your shit together. And why I say that is because of this. You have the biggest continent on the planet right now is Africa. You have all the natural resources there, and I'm going to need for more than 1 to 2 nations to decide that they're going to now do for themselves and to build themselves up. See, the reason why I know that the continent can't be at the same political mindset that say Black America is because if you were, your whole continent wouldn't be that way. See, even though we are 12% of the population, which I don't believe, but let's just take it for the context of what they said. Even if we're 12% of the population, then why does 12% affect you and scare you so much? Because then I go to other places, and most African nations are 80 to 90% melanated people, and then they having less than 8 to 9 to 10% of those people are other races of people, but they're getting dominated. You know you're not doing it to Black America. If Black America had the biggest population in this country, I can promise you half of the shit you see in other places wouldn't be happening. Now, you can argue with me all you want to, but I know that shit to be true. They know it to be true. The reason why I know it is because you've ever learned that whenever they attack Black people, they get soft targets. You see a child getting killed, like Jordan Neely with Daniel Penny, that Jordan Neely case. That man was a $105, choked him out. This Carmelo Anthony case, I saw the young man, he's a $105. So you thought you was gonna railroad him. Trayvon, 17-year-old kid walking home by himself. Jordan Davis, another kid by himself. Sandra Bland, a woman by herself. Why am I going down the list like this? You notice that they ain't took no strong people. And I'm learning that what it is that they come for soft targets in our culture just because they can. And so what I'm saying to Black people is that we're going to get to a point to where you just going to have to stop caring about what they want, what they think, and how they view you. I can promise you this. White people do not stay up at night thinking to themselves, I wonder how Black people view us. Let me move in a way where they feel okay with me. They don't think like that. They just do what the fuck they want. And then if they do something that Black people don't like, they just write it out of the story. I mean, what better way? I said this and then I'm going to go to break. I said this earlier today when I was working out at the gym. Is that white supremacy doesn't care if you know it exists anymore. Because they know the outcome is you still gonna comply. See, like right now, common sense will tell you, and then 5 or 10 years from now, when this whole Carmelo Anthony case blows over and it's no longer a case anymore, what's going to happen is all of the same platforms that are basically now demonizing Carmelo or telling half lies or leaving out stuff or rebutting this part of the story or conveniently leaving out this part of the story, they're all gonna tell the piece like, poor brother got railroaded. And they tell that story because white supremacy argues both sides of the fence, and 2, it doesn't care that you know that it exists anymore. Once they realize that they could kill our children and kill our women, and we didn't do anything to fight back, they say, oh, it's open season again. The reason why you didn't get that in the 90s and the 80s, it's because of the backs. And this is one respect. I always give the civil rights movement a hard time, but this is a time that I come back and I give them mad respect as well. Because of the 1960s and black folks standing up for themselves and having a high racial pride and loving on themselves, white folks knew you can't fuck with these niggas. Black folks started, I remember one of my favorite ancestors that's no longer here is Robert F. Williams. If you ain't never heard his name in the 60s, that man was dope as shit. I think it was Monroe, North Carolina. That man pretty much got tired of people coming to his neighborhood fucking with us. So he told you come in here again, you're going to have a problem. And he was lighting motherfuckers up. And I love him because he got out the country. He was able to get away just like Assata Shakur. And the reason why I say that's why in the 80s and 90s, they respected us as a culture. Now, did they subjugate us and still in every ways banking, the job market, things like that? They did. But at least we had ourselves together. But they knew that this was a problem. It's not ironic that right behind that high racial pride of the 1960s and 70s, they dropped the crack epidemic on us. And see, if you understand history, you knew they knew what they were doing. Because it's only in the black neighborhood. It wasn't in Latino communities like that. They're going to say they were, but they were black communities with Latinos living in them. They didn't drop them on Asian communities, so I know they don't dislike them. They only dropped it in yours. And then two, if you know anything about history, the opiate wars of China back in the late 1800s, China had to kick the West out because they pretty much had them strung out on drugs. And they knew that they're only doing this to take us over. And so what I'm saying to us is that that same rule was applied to our community in the 1980s and 90s. And see, on the back of that, matter of fact, I'll give you an example. And I promise I'm going to go to commercial break after that. Remember in the 80s when the crack epidemic happened, we had Nancy Reagan and everybody else saying crack is whack, say no to it, be tougher on crime, lock these motherfuckers up. See, now it worked in our community. We thought it made sense because we thought they were locking up the dealers. No, they were locking up the addicts. Majority of the people that are in prison over crack in the crack era is addicts, not dealers. So all they did is they dropped a bomb on our community and then decided that they were going to move on and then incarcerate us for the shit that they caused. Malcolm said it best. Just because you pull the knife out my back 2 inches doesn't mean that there's progress. You still have a knife in my back. That's all that I said. We'll go to our first video, sets of videos. We'll be back in a moment, guys. See you in a few.
We've got old school.
Old school.
And we've got new school.
Always plays the new music first right here.
It's 300 Radio.
We are back. Let me get this stuff off the screen because I've been just up here putting shit up here. But anyways, guys, I'm back. Took a small break. Man, first thing first. Let me say this first. Last 5 years, the best albums out there, I don't know if y'all agree or not, but the best music albums in the last 5 years to me was Ari Lennox's last album, Silk Sonic's album, and I don't know if y'all heard him, but this October London, this brother is amazing. Man can sing like anybody. So those are the 3 best albums that I've listened to in the last 5 years. If you haven't bumped them, please go out and do. But anyways, back to the show. And again, guys, my apologies if I'm coming off way too political all the time. I didn't want this platform to be just a political thing, but I think we are living in such a hotbed right now. But it's on purpose. I've been around this block a few times, and for one thing I know about this world is that whatever this world wants us to be, we're going to be. There are people that control this place right now that pretty much has made and mapped out what Black America is going to look like, what white America is going to look like, what the rest of the world is going to look like. And to be honest, if we don't step in here and decide we're going to think and move for ourselves, they're going to get away with it. I don't think people understand that the world that you live in doesn't have to look like this. It only looks this way because you comply. I comply. I comply because I'm not going to martyr myself for anyone. So what I generally do is that if we're going to work out here and move out here as a team and we're going to force these people to do right, then I'm with it. But I know that y'all not going to get on board with me. I know that most people just trying to get a better position in white supremacy. And see, for me, they don't want it removed, in my opinion. So I give you a classic example. I wanted to dive into this next. I didn't want to get too heavy, but the reason why I brought it up, I wanted to talk about Shannon Sharpe. Now, let me put Shannon on the screen while I'm talking. Maybe I can, because I like visuals when I do this. When I put up people when it comes to this. I like to put up visuals. So let's see if we can get a visual. How does this visual look on here? Hold on, guys. Hold on. There it goes. Okay. So I don't like that one. So let's take that one down. Let's get Shannon. I'm just trying to get Shannon on the screen real quick. Hold on one second. I want to get him on the screen so we'll have that visual of him. That's what I want. I want that visual of Mr. Shannon on him the screen. Let's put him up here. Where you at, Shannon? God damn it. All right, so let's remove it for now. But the reason why I wanted to put Shannon up here is because I want everybody to understand that Shannon Sharpe, if you've been living under a rock right now, Shannon Sharpe has been accused of raping someone. Now, I don't think this is going to get any legs, and I think solely the reason why this allegation is not going to get any legs is because it looks like he saved messages between him and the young lady. Now, I haven't had a chance to really dive into it. I've had a very packed weekend. WrestleMania was a thing for me, so I was at that. And then I got straight to work yesterday, so I haven't had a lot of time to dive into this subject. But from what I've caught, it looks like Shannon Sharpe is has an alleged accuser of someone. I don't want to use the R word, but he has done some things to this young lady, and she's suing for $50 million. Shannon proceeds to drop, I did catch this, a whole bunch of messages between him and the lady trying to prove his innocence. And I'm just going to go ahead and jump out the window. Normally, I don't do it because I do not know these people personally. But one thing I am is that I have an analytical mind. I have a mind that works off of numbers and facts and figures. It's a statistical anomaly for every black male of means, especially when he signs a big deal, to all come out and be grapers. If you get what I say, grapers. I didn't use the other word because I know how the algorithms are. And I know that's because somebody doesn't want them to have their level of wealth. Now, does this happen to anyone else? I don't see it. Can someone tell me if they ever seen what's happened to Shannon Sharpe, happened to Bill Cosby, happened to, mind you, everybody, matter of fact, I'm not even going to talk about death. Every person with real money doesn't seem to get out clean. Like the good brother, what's his name? Comedian, cannot think of his name right now. What is his name? What is his name? Shaboing. What is his name? Eddie Griffin. Sorry, Eddie. Mr. Griffin. One of the legends. He's a legend to me. Sorry, Eddie. Eddie made a statement years ago when he said, if you're black, you don't get out that business clean. And he's correct. Let's look at it. Let's take a quick dive into it. Whitney, not clean. Now people are going to say Whitney did it to herself. Who introduced that woman to the way of life that she has? Clive Davis. I'm sorry. I don't know who could have potentially Clive Davis. I don't know who could have potentially actually introduced her to drugs and all the other debauchery stuff that she potentially may have been into. Clive Davis. I don't really know who it could have been. Allegedly. But between her, Prince was such an amazing man to the point to where Prince said, if you don't own your masters, I ain't doing business with you. If y'all don't know about Prince, and I remember Prince when he was actually out, Prince basically said, you're not even gonna call me Prince no more because I don't own that name. And until I own that name, you are not going to sit here and railroad me economically. I support brothers like that. And you can't tell me a man like that didn't have a will. He was too busy and too much about his paperwork. Someone about that, I know, because see me, I'm about my paperwork. Something happens to me, my family's are millionaires. You need to do that as well for your family. Something happens to you, family millionaire. It's the easiest way to pass off generational wealth. Now, I think the most reason why most people don't have it is because they don't benefit from it, but that's a whole nother story. I digress. So I'm just saying this to say this, is that you cannot tell me that every person that's in this business is like this. if you understand Jim Crow, majority of the lynchings that we had in this country against black males were under the guise that they graped a woman. That's what it is. I'm sorry. I'm trying my best to work around that word because I see how you guys are. But let me slow it down. In Jim Crow, majority of the rapings were committed, and they said majority of the lynchings happened because they said some black man raped somebody. That's what I'm trying to say. And we know this not to be true because why are they doing it? One thing I'm gonna tell you about black males is that if you tell us something we can't do, we ain't gonna keep doing it. And I think everybody could see that, hey, messing with them white women is gonna get you fucked up out here. Now, were there some men who still did it? Yes. I give you an example. For the common man, you got lynched. If you dealt with them, through consensual sex or not, you're gonna get lynched if you dealt with a white. If you didn't deal with a white woman, but you had a level of wealth, they lynched you, and then they said that's what you did it for. That was their excuse. Something else you probably didn't know about Jim Crow, about those lynchings. Did you know that 90% of the lynchings that are on record in this country against black people were against black business owners? Did you know that? See, I don't believe nothing's a coincidence. Like today, every time a black person tries to get into business, what happens? We're going to have to shut that business down. And if we can't shut it down by making it sound like a negative, we're going to try to buy it out from you, then kill it. But it has to go. They don't like competition. If you don't believe me, look up the statistics yourself. And see, to me, that's a telltale sign that somebody doesn't want black people out of the position they're in. This is what it is. So I've just gotten to a point, and I'm using Shannon as the standard, or I'm using Shannon as an example now. I've just gotten to the point now, if you're accusing a black man, you're going to have to show me evidence before I believe anything. Because you people lie too much. You will move the goalpost. When I say you people, I'm talking about media majority of the time. You people will lie, and y'all only seem to lie on us. So moving forward, I just think that what we need to do is, like for Mr. Shannon, I'm very happy that it looks like you probably are not going to have to suffer this fate. But who's to know? Who's to say? Because they will take the same situation. You'll lose your job. They will take your platform from you. And then 5 years down the line, or 5 months down the line, they say, oops, sorry, we were wrong. But they ain't going to give you your platform back. I'm going to give you an example, then I'm going to go to the next video of how if they want to kill something, they always use this to kill it. A few years ago, family, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, OWN had a show called Love Is. Love Is was based around the life of the woman creator and her husband who created the TV show Girlfriends. This show, Love Is, was revolutionary in today's market, if you ask me. And what I mean by that is saying this show was basically about how this woman and her husband got together. But if you haven't been living under a rock, you'll be hard pressed to find a black man and a black woman story on TV, movie, or anywhere now. They do not celebrate black love anymore. And so I think that show was going to be very popular because it had amazing writing, amazing acting, and it was telling a story of love for us. Well, needless to say, the first season was a hit. They would say they were going to get a season 2. And then right after that, some raggedy random woman popped her head up and said the husband of the show creator of that show creator had done something to her in the same manner as Shannon Sharpe. And how she was wanted either to sue him or she wanted him removed. It was something, but she went off about how this man had done something to her. So in turn, the network took Love Is off the air while they were supposed to have been investigated. Well, needless to say, Love Is never came back. But you want to know something funny? That TV show wasn't even the husband's show. He wasn't even affiliated with it. It just was about his story. His wife was the one who was running that show. But he did have a show. He was the showrunner of Black Lightning. Guess what stayed on the air the entire time all of this was going on? Black Lightning. But they took Love Is off the air. Now, why would you do that? Well, then I had to go to Black Lightning because I didn't watch Black Lightning. I said, well, let me go to this show. This show has to be a detriment to the community because if it's a positive, they would have took this too. And then I turned around and I saw that you basically had a lot of lesbian characters on. This is not to denigrate the LGBT. This is not about you. This is about the fact of black people. Why was it so important to always put that in front of your face? Now, it was okay to leave that on the air. But it wasn't okay to leave Love Is on the air. I know there's a reason for that, and you do too. Now, you can lie to yourself. I won't. Let's go to the next song. I'll be back. I'm going to try to lighten it up after the commercial break. But we'll be right back in a minute, guys. See you in a minute.
We've got old school.
Old school.
And we've got new school.
Always plays the new music first right here.
It's 300 Radio.
All right, we're back. And I just messed up that feed, so we're going to have to edit that down. But anyways, today's episode, I've been all over the place. I think it's because of the weather, too. We down here in Atlanta, and for some reason, we got this schizophrenic weather, and it's been crazy today. Like today, it's just been raining, it's gloomy. I didn't sleep well. It was a long night. I had a horrible weekend of eating and drinking, so my body's feeling it today. I'm detoxing, people, and I'm probably a little bit frustrated with everything I've been seeing because. And so I think what I'm doing, I've been taking out my frustrations on the podcast, and you guys don't need to hear that. You guys came here to get entertained, to get informed. So my apologies. My apologies when it comes to that. We're not going to keep diving into that. Family, real quick though. I have to address something real quick. Hold on one second at the time. Hey, Miss Maria. Yes, I know I was late again today. Please forgive me. Some of my loyal followers will tell me, why your black ass don't never start on time? I'm sorry. I be trying. I have my mornings are very busy. I'm sorry. But, and I get here close to 11 as possible. So please stop judging me. But no, I wanted to address, this is the last negative thing I think hopefully I'll say today. But this is to a guy who made a comment on one of my posts. One of my shorts that I did was about the IRS from last week. And then I was talking about basically how the IRS isn't needed. It was never needed for a long term. It was only supposed to have been a short term thing. And I'm going to tell you how bad we are slaves. This man jumped in my comment section and went off. I was everything but a Negro with a hard R. I don't know what I was talking about. The IRS is needed to pay for the roads, this and the third. There's no way possible we could survive like that. And then I wanted, and I was gonna get in the comments and go back with him, but I tell people, I don't argue with people that I don't know. I don't argue with faceless people who I know that could be a robot or anything else. So I'm not gonna sit there and argue with you, but I'll address it here. You dumb. There is no reason for that thing to be in existence. You wanna know how I know it? Because it wasn't in existence until like the 1930s. So if this country thrived before then, why couldn't it thrive after that? If it was only supposed to be short term, why didn't it stay short term? If other nations that are just as rich as us do not have that, then why do we have it? Sounds like to me somebody's getting rich. I mean, let's just be honest. Now I understand that Elon Musk and this whole Doge thing, they didn't find as much lost money as he originally set out to be, which I don't trust that man as far as I can throw him. But I do know this is that they're taking our sweat equity. And when I say sweat equity, I'm talking about our time. They take our time and they use it for their own benefit. So like for me, I don't feel comfortable working every day, giving up that big percentage of my money, even if this dumb person can't seem to recognize that. For all the people who wants their funds to be taken up from 35 to 50%, you go have at it. You fund it. I won't drive on the road that you say that was paid for by it. How about that? But it just, to me, I will tell people I will not address you in the comments. If you got an issue with me, let's talk about it on air. Hit me up. The email's always in the description. Hit me up. Ask me to jump on. We can have that debate live on air. I have no problem with that. And I'm not running from anybody. And if I ever be wrong, I'm wrong. See, that's the thing. I always tell people, if you're going to jump online and be on this platform space like we're doing right now, just be truthful. Only say the things that you know to be true and only the things that you can back up. Outside of that, don't talk about it. I don't. Like yesterday, me and Miss Lovey got into a heavy about relationships. And even in the middle of that, there was things that I wanted to say, but I held back because in that very moment, I couldn't prove it because I didn't have Google pulled up. I didn't have my statistics right in front of me. So one thing I don't do, I only talk about what I can prove. And everyone else, I believe, because like this is the world we live in now. Everybody has their subjective truth now, which is nothing more than watering down the truth, if you ask me. There is no your truth, my truth. There is only one truth, and everything else is a lie. and it is what it is. And I just don't live in that space of subjective truths when it comes to that. I don't do that. But I digress. But I did want to address that young man. Sir, if you have an issue with what I said about the IRS, definitely get on the platform and let's talk about it. But if you choose to be faceless and nameless, then I don't want to fuck with you and I'm not going to address you. So for the people, because I'm going to tell you, I'm getting comfortable in this space as we go. And the more comfortable I get, the more it's going to come out of my mouth. I'm going to be honest with you and tell you like it is. And you're going to find out that my viewpoints are pretty much standard for most black males, if you ask me, especially some of them that quote unquote, conscious when it comes to it. And all we want, because like I say, for me, all I want in this world is a space to be the best version of myself. And I know that this world is trying to create and foster an environment for me to be the worst version of myself. And I'm not cool with that. And I'm not going to support that. I'm not going to, I'll say it this way, and then I'll move on. Krishnamurti, which is one of my favorite philosophers, he said it once. He said that the world is just a stage, and we're all just unwilling participants in it. And so for me, now that I understand that, I no longer unwillingly or willingly participate in what's going on. What I do now is that I stand on truth, I stand on justice, and I will die for that. That's what you have to learn to do in this world. But I digress. So anyways, we're going to move on from that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move on and to the next commercial break. No, matter of fact, let's not do it. Yeah, matter of fact, let's do that. Now I'm going to go play one more song. And then after I do this song, I'm going to come in and I'm going to close it out with my final thought. Okay? So give me a second, guys. Hold on a second.
We've got old school.
Old school.
And we've got new school.
Always plays the new music first right here.
It's 300 Radio.
Hey 300 family, it is your man DJ Rick Grimes, and I'm ready to give you that afternoon ride. Join me every afternoon from 12 to 3, Monday through Fridays, right here on 300radio.com.
Keep us locked on your radio dial.
Keep it locked.
What's up, y'all? This is Beyonce, and you listening to my station.
This is 300 Radio.
All right, guys, so we're going to close out the show with this. So let me give you guys my final thoughts of the day. Again, my energy feels so low, guys, so I apologize if it has been. If this is your first time catching me, I promise you every episode isn't like this. But on today's episode, like I said, I did a lot of ranting and raving about basically the state of Black America. But what the reason why I guess it comes up so much on the platform is because I'm living this experience every day right now. As a black man, as a black business owner, and everything else that I have to accomplish and do on a day-to-day basis, it's extremely hard to do, especially with the things that we're facing. Now, I get it. If I'm listening to the other side of my opposition, they're going to tell me I'm full of shit. They're going to tell me I'm lying. They're going to tell me that I'm just avoiding accountability and I just won't, and I had no father, and every stupid fucking excuse in the book that they can come up with. When in actuality is that you don't get to subjugate millions of people physically if you can't capable of doing it. If you're not capable of doing it. I like to tell people all the time, melanated people outnumber every other group of people on the planet. So how are you going to subjugate melanated people? You have to break them up into 80,000 different factions. I tell people all the time, just here in America alone, that we have black AKAs, black Deltas, black Christians, black Muslims. We have black atheists. We have YNs. We just got a bunch of groups. We have feminists. We have manosphere. On the continent, we have 8 billion gazillion tribes. In the Caribbean, there's 62,000 different islands. Some people in the Caribbean don't even say that they're black at all. They're Dominicans. And I'm not to pick on the Dominicans, but it's just, that's how they win. If you want to know how we lose and they win, that's how they win. If you will not be part of your group, and I know the main thing is you don't understand that subconsciously they've told you your group is trash. And you believed it. And see, but I have a different understanding of it. I understand that in this world, you don't hate down, you hate up. When I saw a person or when I see a person that's on the side of the street that is struggling, I don't hate on that person. I try to pick them up. I give them something. That's not what happens with us. If you cared about what happened to black society, and I'm talking to the dominant society right now, if it was more about us just not pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps and less about what you're doing, then why do you feel the need to lie? See, I'm a grown adult at this point. My parents told me at a very young age, when you lie, you're just covering up a lie to cover up another lie to cover up another lie, but the truth always stands on its own. Just like this young man at the beginning of this video that I played for you at the beginning, he talked about the whole Carmelo Anthony case and all the lies that the media has told on him. Why do you feel the need to lie? Because you know the boy didn't do anything wrong. So then I have to ask myself this question. So if he didn't do anything wrong, then why do you feel the need to railroad him? I think you feel like no black person is ever get an advantage over a white person. That's what you're telling the world. Anyone who looked at this case and looked at it and said the way that you see it, just want to see black people suffer too. Because I'll take it, because I like to use the Daniel Penny case in reverse to talk about this one. You ever notice that no matter what happened in that case, that man was right? Didn't matter. That man wasn't getting threatened. He wasn't even getting threatened. That man walked on the other side of the train to go choke that man to death. And everybody said, great. This man said, hey, don't fuck with me. Leave me alone. Let me find the first weapon I can find because these some big motherfuckers coming at me. You said, no, that's not right. So let me just make points to these people and then I'll leave it alone. And then I'll shut out the show. To all the people who says that Carmelo is wrong, how was he supposed to handle it then? Was he supposed to take the ass whooping? Was that what he was supposed to do? Was he supposed to let the people who had already physically put their hands on him just beat his ass? No, you would say he shouldn't have been in the tent. Whose tent was it? Doesn't fucking matter. Did you put your hand on him? I don't know any school anywhere in the world where they employ the children to then enforce rules on other children. That's not how it works. But again, you're allowed to move the goalposts because you control the media. But I'm going to say this and then I'm going to go. We're in a new era, people. We are in an era to where people like myself exist. You can kiss my ass. If I have interactions with anybody that wants to basically blame black people for the subjugation that happens to us, I'm going to tell you, okay. And then I'm going to move the fuck on. I don't give a fuck what you have to say. Your logic doesn't resonate here. It doesn't resonate with me. It's not going to move me. It's not going to make me change my mind. You can kiss my ass. I'm taking a page out of your book. When something affects my community in a way that I don't like it, I do not care anymore. I'm going to stand with my people at all times. If you want truth and justice, then we need to get it across the board. Until then, I'll rock with my party just like everyone else. I think for all of us to get to that point, that's where I'm at. And just remember this, I was given this world, I didn't make it. So if you don't like the way my opinion of the things work at this point, or people like myself, then you need to change your behavior. Don't ask me to change mine. And with that, I will close out the show. I will see you guys tomorrow on Wednesday. Miss Lovey should be back. We're going to have an amazing show. We're going to dive more into these relationship questions moving forward. But I appreciate you guys for sitting the time and taking the time to spend with your boy today. And I'll see you on the next one. If you want to hit me up, definitely hit me at 300radio or 300podcast@gmail.com. I'll answer any question that you guys need, answer anything that you need taken care of. Until then, I'll check you on the next one. Peace.
Whoa. Before you leave this podcast and go somewhere else, did you hit the notification bell? Because if you didn't, please do so now. And I'm talking to the people who've already subscribed. But if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that as well. Hit the like button, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.